Good day, everyone. Welcome to Wheels Up Live. I'm IAD Bound, and today we are here at KLAX. This is the AnyBuilds version of Los Angeles International Airport, and we have the PMDG 777-300ER in one of the PMDG house liveries. And today I wanted to talk to you about an issue that comes up regularly from a support perspective on the unofficial PMDG Discord server, and that is folks who encounter what we call an activation problem. And to be clear, I believe that that is what PMDG itself calls these kinds of problems. And you might be wondering then, what is that problem and how do I potentially solve that problem? So this issue arises when you have gone into the world map, selected your airport, selected your PMDG aircraft, and you start it up and it's loading and you enter the cockpit, and instead of seeing a cockpit that perhaps looks like this is a cold and dark state. You might be starting it up with a different state, but regardless, you see that the yoke is centered, buttons and knobs are responsive, right? Things act the way you expect them to act. But sometimes you go in and you see something that looks like this. And what we have here is that the yokes are hard over to the left, all of the screens are blank, and none of the buttons are responsive. No matter what you do, they do not respond to your inputs. And your hardware controls do not move the yoke, the rudder, or any other control surfaces. Essentially, you have a dead airplane. This is an activation issue. It can happen at any time. No one is 100% immune, but some users have this issue more often and more severely. So I want to address what your troubleshooting steps can be to try to alleviate this problem. We're going to walk through several of them. At the end, you'll see that it's entirely possible that even with all of these troubleshooting steps, you still need the direct assistance of PMDG, and we'll talk about how to do that as well. Okay, so let's say you did run into this problem. What's the first step you can take? The first step you can take is to hit escape. Normally it's escape to take you to this options menu. And along the bottom here, you'll see an option that says restart. If you hit restart, what it will do is attempt to reload the plane using the same setup and scenario that you specified in the world map. So that would be the same airport, same parking spot, same plane, same livery. If you do that, most of the time, not all of the time, no guarantees, but often it will fix this problem. So that's the first step you can take. What does it look like when you do that? If you hit restart, you'll choose continue, and you'll see we're going to go back to the same loading screen you saw coming from the world map. So it's following my instructions here. Now I had changed the weather and the time of day so you could get a little different view. All right, so here we are. We're back in the 777 now. This is my default panel state that I use. I just have it load up on what is the PMDG default when you load into a gate. Then I come into my panel state and I have a custom cold and dark that I use. But as you can see, in either event, as of now, the plane is working as it should. I can control buttons. The yokes are fine. It's a little bit dark right now, so we'll make it a little lighter just so you can see a little better. And we'll go to our time of day here. Bring us up to sunrise-ish. Wonderful. All right, but as you can see, we still have a working plane, right? And I can come back and do what I did before. All right, so a lot of the times this solves that primary activation problem, but let's suppose it didn't solve it. All right, what would you do next? Next, what you would do is, again, go back to your controls, except this time you're going to go to the main menu, go all the way back to the main menu, and you can attempt to reload your scenario again. Here's what I would tell you. If you are using a third-party livery, change it. Go to a PMDG house livery. For those of you who don't know how to change the liveries, I'm not going to go all the way back to the main menu for this, but I'm sure there's plenty of instructions about how to change it elsewhere on the internet. But regardless, change it to a PMDG house livery. Try again. If that doesn't work, drive. I created my own MSFS 2020 folder where the community folder is. But regardless, wherever yours is, go into the community folder and take anything that is not the PMDG aircraft you're using and the PMDG livery folder out. Take it out. Restart the sim. Reload with your PMDG house livery and see if that solves your problem. If it does, could be having something interfering as well. You never know, but just try that first. All right, let's suppose now you've tried all of these various steps and you are not getting anywhere. What do you want to do next? Well, the next step that I would recommend that you undertake is to do a complete uninstall and reinstall of your PMDG aircraft. Now, this question comes up often. How do I do that? And here is your short answer. The first thing you need to understand, and a lot of people are confused by this, is that the operations center is not the tool that you use to try to uninstall or reinstall your plane. It doesn't do that. However, in this case, when we're doing the uninstall, you do want to start there for a reason. So what you would do is back out of Microsoft Flight Simulator completely, just exit out. Open the Operations Center and go to the installed product that you're going to uninstall. Remember, you're not going to uninstall it from here, but what you need to do is remove any liveries that you have installed. If you have installed PMDG's liveries that they provide directly through the Operations Center, like for example this British Airways here, you can click on the Remove button and it will remove it. Next, if you installed any third-party liveries, like for example from flightsim.to, go under the Livery Utilities, go to the installed product that you have, select the liveries that you have installed, and remove them. Once you have done that, you are then in a position to uninstall the aircraft. Step 1 of the uninstall is to go to the Windows Add Remove Programs and go down until you see your PMDG aircraft that you want to uninstall. So let's say in this case it's the 777. This applies the same way if it's the 737. Okay? But if it's, for our sake of argument, we're doing the 777. And all you would have to do is click on here and uninstall. Follow the prompts, it will uninstall the aircraft. And you might be thinking, okay, that's all I have to do. But that is not correct. There's more to a complete uninstall and reinstall. After you've done the uninstall through the add remove programs, come back to your community folder and look and see if the aircraft folder that you've just uninstalled is still in here. If it is, delete it. Go ahead and delete that liveries folder too. Now, here comes the tricky part. PMDG and other third-party add-on makers also need to install some folders deep inside the MSFS program tree. And unfortunately, particularly with the Microsoft Store version, they're in a strange location. So what you need to do is go under your username profile, assuming that you've installed it on the C drive. In my case, I've actually got it fully moved over to the E drive, so it's a different directory. But in your case, you want to go to C, local disk, right? Then you would go to users, your username, and then app data. Now, if you do not see the app data folder, what you need to do is make sure that you can see hidden folders in Windows, because the app data folder is a hidden folder. Then you want to go under local and packages and find this very strangely named Microsoft Flight Simulator _ AWEK, etc. This is one of these Microsoft quirks. By the way, if you're using Steam, it's a different path structure, but essentially you're going to end up in a spot where you're looking at what is the local cache, local state, roaming state. And what you want to do is go into your local state, packages, and look for your PMDG aircraft that you have just uninstalled. The folder will probably still be here. So we can see the PMDG aircraft 77W, and you can see under here we have some files and a work folder with still more stuff under it. I would go ahead and delete all of that. Now, there's an additional folder that you could also delete. I have noticed it doesn't really make a difference, but you can delete it. If you come back up to the Microsoft Flight Simulator folder and go to local cache, sim objects, airplanes, find your PMDG airplane 777-300ER. You'll see there's a camera state and a state.config. You may not have a camera file here. If you do have a camera file here, it is reflective of whatever customized cameras you have made for the PMDG 777. You can keep that one if you want. I've noticed it doesn't make a difference, but out of an abundance of caution, you could delete that. Okay, once you have done that, you have effectively uninstalled the PMDG aircraft. Now, what you want to do is then reinstall it. If you bought the PMDG aircraft from PMDG's website, what you want to do is go back to the website, scroll down, go to sign in and register. And when you do that, you can come here and you can log in with the email and password that you use to make your purchase. When you go in, you will see your orders, find your order that corresponds to your PMDG aircraft, and re-download it. Get a fresh installer. Once you have downloaded that, what you want to do is install again. I strongly recommend that you install it using administrator rights. If you're confused about how to do that, right-click on the executable that's downloaded and choose Run as Administrator. Then follow the prompts again, and that'll include giving it your serial numbers, etc., product activation number. And once you have done that, go ahead, reboot your PC, go back into Microsoft Flight Simulator, and without adding anything back into the community folder except your PMDG aircraft, go ahead and try again with the house livery and see if it solves your problem. Now, if you have trouble with installation, PMDG has made a video that you can use as a reference. Now, they originally did this for the 737, but it's the same principle for the 777. The PMDG video is on PMDG's official YouTube channel. And here's the video name. It's the PMDG 737 for MSFS 001, installation and important first run notes. Just go ahead and reference that, and you can see that it will provide instructions on how to download and install the aircraft. I will provide a link to that video in the description below. All right, so let's say you've done all of those things and still you cannot access the plane without it going into the bad activation mode that we saw here. If it's still not working, at this point, I want to let you know that PMDG is aware that these issues can and have arisen relatively often in recent months. Indeed, they posted on the PMDG forum about this and have asked users to provide them additional information when they have run into this problem. Strongly recommend that you take a look at this post. I will provide a link to that as well. Now, if you need direct support from PMDG, and I will say their direct support's very good, what you want to do is go to the support website. The support website is support.pmdg.com. When you come here, if you have never filed a support ticket with PMDG before, you need to register. You cannot just log in, you need to register. See the registration option here? Okay, when you register, I strongly suggest that you use the email address that you used when you made your purchase from PMDG. Now, if you happen to have purchased from the marketplace, of course, a re-download and deletion will happen in the content manager. But you still want to go through and clear out those folders. All right, so now let's suppose that you have registered and you now want to file a support ticket. What you're going to do once you've logged into it is you're going to go to tickets. You would start a ticket and you could choose product support and then go ahead and just follow all the various prompts. At that point, PMDG will get back to you directly and they should be able to sort you out. Fingers crossed. So, if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. If you like the content on the channel, please subscribe. Thank you all for joining us. I hope this was helpful. See you soon.